The fog clung to the cobblestones of Whitechapel, shrouding the narrow streets in a gauzy veil, as Eleanor Lockwood pulled her shawl tighter around her shoulders. The hour was late and shadows stretched unnaturally long through the alleyways. She had always dismissed the tales of the gas lamp ghost, said to stalk the streets after dusk, murmuring a name no one could decipher. Tonight, though, the air carried a weight, a pressure that made her steps falter. The next day, Eleanor tried to dismiss her fears as fancy, but the unease followed her like a shadow. At the textile mill where she worked, she caught snippets of conversation among the women. Another girl had vanished, the second that month. No one spoke of it openly, but the connection weighed heavy in the air. By late afternoon, strange things began happening. Eleanor noticed her reflection in the grimy window of the mill's break room, but something about it was wrong. It didn't move with her. It lingered too long, a half-second delay that made her stomach twist. That night, as she walked home, she caught herself mumbling under her breath, a name she didn't recognize. She began to dream of the gas lamp ghost. The dreams were vivid, visceral, more memory than fantasy. She saw an alleyway cloaked in mist and a figure standing under a flickering lamp, its features obscured but undeniably human, or close enough to pass. She felt herself drawn to it, the name still spilling from her lips, even as dread clawed at her chest. Each time she woke, her body ached, her limbs heavy as though she'd been walking in her sleep. By the time she reached the mill the following day, desperation drove Eleanor to the parish priest, a man infamous for his grim demeanor and whispered knowledge of the occult. She confessed everything, every detail of the dreams and the name that had taken her voice. He watched her without interrupting, his face pale but set. When she finished, he lit a candle and gestured for her to step closer. "It is no ghost," he said grimly. "This thing, what you've invited, it's older than the streets you walk." He told her of the original name of Whitechapel, a sacrificial ground, centuries before the city rose. "It feeds on the forgotten," he said, "those who are alone, and now it has marked you." Eleanor's fear turned to fury at his empty words, but when she left the church and looked into the night, the gas lamps ahead flickered again. This time, the figure in her dreams waited beneath the glow, its hand outstretched, its mouth moving. She knew then that the name wasn't outside of her. It was her own. It always had been.